Can you hear me?
Yep.
Excellent. There's no time for questions. If you've got any, if you want to ask me anything about what I'm talking about or my colleagues' work, then please just ask me a public question on Google+, just plus Conrad Parker, and we'll get back to you. My colleagues asked me to just really quickly talk about some of the stuff that they're working on as well. We work with large amounts of data. We use iter-t a lot. We added some parallel code to iter-t. Recently we hired John Lato, who's the iter-t maintainer, and we work on that a lot. But what we're actually doing now is also doing a lot of work with FRP, building FRP-based GUIs, using that for analysis and visualization, and we'll use it for possible actual other production work as well. Akira Takano Yaskavandia joined us recently, and he's working on a distributed part of that. Andrew Richards has been working on that as well and doing some GTK-based wrappers. So that's these are some things that will be coming out on our GitHub page, github.com/capital. ParserGen, Michael Bykoff has been working on a template Haskell-based system where you basically write your grammar as BNF, and it generates a very, very fast parser, which he thinks is faster than Addo parser. So it's very, very good. Today what I'm going to talk about is Zoom Cache and Scope. Packages Zoom Cache, Zoom Cache PCM, Zoom Cache sound file, Scope, and Scope Cairo. They're basically, Zoom Cache is a streamable, seekable file format for time series data. PCM and sound file libraries are an instance of that for audio PCM data, and an interface using Eric Castroloco's Lib sound file for generating cached sound files out of that. Scope is an interactive renderer for plotting time series data. It's a library which is kind of GUI-less in that sense. Scope Cairo is a wrapper around that which uses Cairo. My motivation for doing all this is of course that a long time ago a coworker told me that everything I do turns into a DJing tool. Around 2001 I wrote a sound editor called Sweep. It was just a Pixar for doing sound effects in a few movies. They're basically based around using small files. It was optimized for that, by which I mean I didn't bother implementing large file caching. So then when people went to use it for music and stuff, it kind of consumed a lot of memory. So what I really want to be able to do is use the world's finest imperative programming language to write something better. So the Zoom Cache file format is optimized for being able to zoom in and out of long sequences of data. You don't want to be reading in gigs and gigs of data every time the user moves around. So basically what it does is it encodes summary blocks into the file with just the information that you need to render it later. What you want to render will depend on the information. So if you're rendering audio data, you might render an envelope of the sound, maybe some of its frequency information, that kind of thing. If you're rendering stock prices, then you'll have completely different kinds of symbols and things that you're looking for that you want to render onto screen. So the point is that that kind of stuff that you would normally do in the rendering step when you're looking at the raw data, you write some of that information into the file. What you can also then do is join summaries together. So you have a way of, you might have a summary for a particular length of data. You then might have another summary for a larger amount of data in the same kind of format. Zoom Cache library implements this. It has type-corrected serialization, uses data family interfaces with iter-t and Blaze Builder, uses type-level NAT index lists. That's using Oleg and Ken's type-level library for radifying stuff. Instances for unit and bool for timestamps, binary events, numeric instances, ways of wrapping everything into doubles, monoidal kind of interface for joining summary blocks together, data offsets, a wrapper for putting file offsets into iter-ts. Then the scope library itself just generates a set of drawing instructions for ranges of data. So it reads a Zoom Cache file, seeks to the specified range, finds summary blocks, provides an API for zooming in and out. Remember, it's not tied into any particular GUI. So the Scope Cairo library renders stuff to Cairo and provides GTK mouse handling and scroll bar so you can zoom in and out and move around quickly. I can't give you a demo. Current future work. Range space is so basically John Lato is taking over a lot of this work. is taken the range handling part of scope, which works out which part you're looking at and how you can work out where you are and where the mouse should go and stuff like that. He's extending that to multiple dimensions. He's made a range space library, which is on Hackage now, which gives vector space instances for ranged data. He's also planning to use Brent's diagrams library for rendering this stuff, so we can do much nicer composed diagram rendering. There are some plans to do HTML5 canvas rendering because they are doing these drawing commands into HTML5 canvas is very similar to Cairo, so that would allow us to take an application that uses scope and build a web app out of that. And of course, the general goal is to have actual applications, things like, we all have profiling apps. Putting this into the thread scope so you can make a web app, for example, would be something really cool. And maybe even some actual user applications for those mythical end users that apparently exist out there somewhere. Thank you.